Hi guys, good morning. So this is Dr.M.MOORTHI, working as assistant professor in the Department of Automobile Engineering, SNS College of Technology, Coimbatore. So in this video, we are going to discuss about a topic called force analysis. So here, so in that the force analysis we may classify it into the two category called static force analysis and dynamic force analysis. So in general, in the force analysis, what is force analysis that we should know. If take any object in the system or in the universe, so it always some external things is acting towards in it, so that there is a change in the system. So for that case, we have to analyze the what are the changes while the application of the force are called as external force on the system. So what are the changes, or what are the internal changes or external changes happening in the system. So here the first is the force analysis. So the force is the strength or energy as an attribute of physical action or by means of movement. So the force is the external thing or energy is acting on the object, so it experience some changes, or that is the physical action or some movement in the system. Next, the static force analysis. So here the static force analysis, if you take a object, if it is in a rest, it is in the rest condition. So in that there are some external forces or internal forces. So that internal force is maybe in terms of its self weight is acting, yeah, it acting on the system, and as well as some external force is acting towards the object. But the object remain in the it is in the rest condition means, so it is called a static force analysis. So if you analyze the changes or movement or effect in the system if it is in the rest condition. Those static forces are those forces acting on the members whose magnitude does not depend on acceleration or mass of the component. So the object remain in the state of rest on the ideal conditions. You see the first picture, it clearly expresses the force required to overcome friction at the instant an object starts moving from this is a measure of static force analysis. So if the what are the changes are the forces that acting on the system, if these forces are the causes for the changes in the object. The same in the second one. See, this is the self weight. This is the examples of another one is called static force analysis. So the self weight, and then this boat is it's floating on the surface of the ocean sea by means of the buoyant forces. So next one is the dynamic force analysis. So the dynamic force analysis, if the object are in the motion, and then after that the what are the changes it's happening in the system that need to be analyzed in the dynamic force system. So see here, the dynamic forces are forces produced due to dynamic action of missing element or inertia. See the picture itself, the if the entire thing is by means of is there is a movement in the system or the dynamic action. Same in the remaining picture, it indicates there is a changes. So with the changes, there is some movement or action to be happening. Then next one is applied force. The applied force is the external force. The definition of this applied force is there is an external force is acting on the system. It may be the type of push type of force or pull force. So the force which is applied to an object by another object. So the example is a person pushing a barrel is in a example of applied force. When the person pushes the barrel, then there is an applied force acting on the barrel. So next one is the constrained force. What is constrained force? So the system itself, it produce the forces, so it is called the constrained force. So the force exerted by the constraining object on a particular object to make it follow the constraints of the movement is known as constrained forces. So the example is the motion of a body on a which a particle sliding down a curve under gravity, a particle tied to one end of a string, so there is a movement of a fan. So next one is free body diagram. So the free body diagram is the separation of object from the surrounding object, or the isolation of object from the surrounding object. So a free body diagram is a sketch of a object of interest with all the surrounding objects stripped away and all of the forces acting on the body is shown here. See here in the figure, the left side one, there is an external force acting on the object. So here and on the flat surface, so here there is a free body diagram. The first one is the force applied by the man, and with that rough surface we experience the friction force. So this friction force always acting in the opposite direction of the force applied. And the next one is the self weight of the object, and also the normal reaction due to the self weight of object. So this is the free body diagram of an object.